capital of the state of Israel, Tel Aviv, where you see a massive plume of smoke that has now risen into the sky. The Iranians have now struck the state of Israel in different parts, according to reports that have come in, from ballistic missiles, which have managed to strike several targets. The extent of the damage is still yet to be ascertained, but this is what the Iranians are calling their Operation True Promise 3, where the Iranian Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in fact, delivered a message saying that the Israeli regime will be rendered helpless following the reprisal by the Iranian Republic's armed forces. Remember, yesterday night, it was the Israelis who started what Netanyahu said was Operation Rising Lion, in which several Iranian nuclear sites had been struck by the Israelis, and now the Iranians are responding. This is what the scene looks like at this moment in Tel Aviv. We still do not know the extent of the damage that has been inflicted on the state of Israel. But at this moment, though, it does appear that quite a few of the Iranian ballistic missiles have indeed struck their targets. And this is a massive, massive escalation, because this is something that probably Netanyahu may or may not have calculated. It now needs to be seen as to where things, of course, are headed. A number of different factors are at play here. The Israelis, of course, have said that they are going to respond to this escalation by the Iranians. The Iranians have said that this is a reprisal for the act of aggression that was carried out by the Israelis yesterday night. And since then, even this evening as well, there have been several nuclear facilities, especially the Fordo nuclear facility that was struck by the Israelis using their ballistic missiles and fighter jets. Now, these are some scenes from the skies of Tel Aviv. You can look at the interceptor missiles going from the ground up to the skies, reaching up. And you'll also see a number of ballistic missiles which managed to evade these interceptors fired by the Israelis, and then managed to strike their targets. And it is what the Iranians are calling True Promise 3 that they've now unleashed over the cities of Tel Aviv and over Jerusalem. This is what the information is that is now coming in. Remember, the things are very, very fluid at this moment, and there are a lot of videos that are circulating online, so do pay attention to what is happening at this moment and do not fall for fake news. But these are images that are now being beamed straight from Tel Aviv, where all air defense systems of the Israelis have been activated, and the Iranians in the past have shown that their ballistic missiles can actually pierce through this much talked about Israeli Iron Dome. And these are some of the scenes of damage which has been sustained in some buildings in Tel Aviv. The exact extent of the damage, the number of injuries and deaths is not known, but this is a building that's in fact been struck. And watch those explosions that happen when the missiles which have managed to evade the interceptor missiles come and strike the ground. But a lot of the missiles do appear that they are getting intercepted by these top-notch, very expensive air defense systems that the Israelis have at their disposal. Now, this was always going to be a difficult night, especially in the aftermath of the attack that was carried out by Israel yesterday night, where Israel has, in a very calculated manner, targeted several Iranian nuclear facilities. This is one of those buildings that have been damaged. We'll get you more details on what exactly has been struck by the Israeli missiles. The IDF claims that Iran has fired missiles into Israel, and the Iranians say that we are raining fire. Hundreds of ballistic missiles is what were launched. We do not know as to how many succeeded in striking these Israeli targets, and we'll have a more clearer picture in a few hours from now once the dust settles down. But remember, in this conflict of attack and counter-attack, one does not expect that things will cool down immediately. But what you are looking at on your screens is a clear escalation of the contest that was unfolding between Iran and Israel, which has now turned into a hot war. But will this hot war turn into an all-out war is something that is still up for speculation, because the question is this: will cooler heads prevail? This had been an opportunity that Israel had been working for several weeks, for several months, where it had been lobbying with the American administration that it wanted to go and strike the nuclear facilities in Iran, which is what it has done in the last 24, 36 hours. And now the Iranians are hitting back. And you can look at some of those images of the Israeli missiles striking the heart of the Israeli nerve center. Tel Aviv skyline looks lit up with those interceptor missiles and the Iranian ballistic missiles that are at this moment raining down. Now, there are more details that are to emerge about the kind of missiles that the Iranians have used in this attack that it has carried out. But the Iranians say that they fired hundreds of ballistic missiles earlier in the afternoon. They had fired those slow-moving Shahid 136 drones that were headed towards Israel that would have taken several hours to traverse the distance between Iran till Israel. But the Iranians also have these hypersonic missiles, which once fired from Iran can reach the state of Israel in less than 300 seconds and strike the targets. The interceptor systems that the Israelis have, that they've developed on their own indigenously, and a lot of them also given by the Americans, these are some of the very best interceptor systems that the Israelis have at their disposal. But still, some of these missiles are able to squeeze through that layer, the blanket of air defense system that the Israelis, of course, have at their disposal. Now, oil is said to have surged to its biggest single-day gain since 2022. This was obviously expected to happen. The Brent crude has gone up by over 7%, and it is trading at $74.23. Is this the beginning of an all-out war? That's still something that is not known. How will this conflict, of course, proceed from here is something that needs to be watched very carefully indeed.